This that step for all news I see, forgetting to what I say. Gen 5, 17, or 41, Sadiq Bay.
Can't ever cook their favorite one, that's how you make it hurt.
Fifth teenager is now behind bars shooting that injured 8 teenagers as they waited for a SEPTA bus after school earlier this month.
Got the drop in this one out, we made a move to a different house.
Now let's talk facts. We go whack for whack, we stay up on them. Bullets to this back.
A man and a woman have been found guilty in the murder-for-hire plot of killing a Philadelphia teacher. That verdict was just handed down by jurors. Took them less than an hour to convict Julie Jean and Zaki Al-Hakim in the killing that happened last April.
Welcome back to American Confidential. Today, we're going to go back over a few stories I did previously, and I'm going to give a little update to those stories. So without further ado, let's get right into it. In just 45 minutes on Thursday, March 21st, a Montgomery County jury delivered a verdict of guilty on charges of first-degree murder and conspiracy for orchestrating what prosecutors called a, quote, assassination of an Elkins Park woman while she and her 11-year-old son were waiting at a Dunkin' drive-thru in Cheltenham last year. Rachel King's family, clad in her favorite color, orange, shed tears as Julie Jean, who's 35, and Zaki Al-Hakim, who's 34, both received life sentences in prison. I did a story on this last year, a few days after the unfortunate passing of Rachel. During his closing arguments, District Attorney Kevin Steele identified Al-Hakim as the gunman, emphasizing Jean's role as the, quote, connection, the accomplice, and the catalyst behind this tragic event, which unfolded as the violent conclusion to a bitter love triangle involving King. For a period of 10 months, Jean engaged in an extramarital affair with William Hayes, who was engaged to Rachel King. When Hayes terminated the affair and committed to King, Jean's reaction turned to anger and fixation, according to DA Kevin Steele. Subsequently, she collaborated with Al-Hakim, who has ties to the father of her children, to plan King's murder. Evidence, which was taken from Jean's cell phone, revealed her trips to Kensington to meet with Al-Hakim and give him images of King. Detectives discovered a Google Maps screenshot on Al-Hakim's cell phone indicating King's address, along with hand-drawn instructions on accessing her apartment complex. Moreover, prosecutors contended that Julie Jean provided Al-Hakim with $500 the day before he acquired an untraceable ghost gun intended for the murder, with Al-Hakim later sending Julie Jean a photo of the firearm. Additionally, Jean purchased a pre-owned Mercury Sable, which prosecutors allege Al-Hakim utilized to surveil King's apartments in the days leading up to the murder, then used the car to track and ambush her on the fatal day. In an effort to conceal their involvement, Jean deleted text messages, call logs, and news articles related to King's killing from her phone. However, her attorney Shaka Johnson rejected the DA's narrative as, quote, fictional and maintained Julie Jean's innocence. Shaka Johnson argued that prosecutors fabricated a motive unsupported by evidence. Quote, the prosecution began by crafting a narrative of a woman scorned, she said to the jury. She is so wounded, she is utterly devastated because Will Hayes has cut ties with her that she desires the demise of anyone associated with him. This is the narrative they wish for you to accept, Johnson said. Shaka Johnson also contested Hayes' testimony during the trial, portraying his expression of love for King as self-serving. Johnson asserted that Hayes led a double life unknown to either woman. It was Jean who discovered Hayes' infidelity and reached out to King to discuss it, a reaction Johnson deemed natural for someone feeling betrayed, even as Julie Jean moved to Linwood Gardens where Hayes resided. Attorney Johnson dismissed the prosecution's, quote, mountain of evidence as circumstantial, arguing that none of it directly linked Jean to the crime. He questioned whether the evidence proved Jean to be someone willing to kill Rachel to have Hayes to herself, suggesting that a critical and objective examination would lead to a verdict of not guilty. On the tragic morning of her death, King was en route to take her son to violin practice, as recounted by her father. King had raised her son, Jalen, as a single mother, with unwavering support from her family, according to her father and brother, who praised her remarkable parenting. Jalen has been deeply affected by his mother's passing, struggling to come to terms with the loss. He carries a picture of his mother everywhere he goes, unable to let go of her memory, said King's brother, Alan King III. In addition to her family's grief, King's passing has left a profound impact on the students and colleagues at Mastery Charter. School officials noted that she was a beloved teacher, often staying late to mentor students. Years later, former students would return to visit her classroom, a testament to the enduring impact she had on their lives, as highlighted by her brother Alan. Miss King represented the best of what we set out to be every day for our students. She often talked about the quiet early mornings in her room with her favorite morning drink, coffee in her hand, with the chance to pray, reflect, plan, and think about what kids needed for the day and beyond. To have been taught by Rachel was to forever be Miss King's favorite student. Leaving the doors of Mastery Cleveland stopped no one from coming back to visit her, nostalgically remembering her writing or history lessons, or walking into room 103 for a hug or to read an affirmation posted on her wall. We miss her. The Instagram account of Mastery Cleveland Charter School posted after her death. In the 5-point shooting, a 15 has been arrested. Also, Asir Boone, the 17-year-old fugitive, was arrested in Virginia. At approximately 12:15 p.m. on Tuesday, investigators from the U.S. Marshal Service Fugitive Task Forces in Philadelphia and Alexandria, Virginia, proceeded to an apartment in the 700 block of Seton Avenue in Alexandria, where the Marshal Service investigators believed Boone was hiding with a woman who had ties to Philadelphia. Upon entering the apartment, investigators located Boone, who complied with the marshal's commands and was taken into custody without incident. He was then transported to the Alexandria Police Department for processing. Asir Boone, 17, was wanted for attempted murder, firearms violations, and related charges in relation to the shooting incident in the 7300 block of Rising Sun Avenue. A warrant for Boone was issued on March the 12th. A 15-year-old who police say acted as a lookout for the gunman in the 5-point shooting, standing inside and near Duncan, texting, quote, "go" to the shooters as their targets walked by, has been arrested, police said Thursday. Jeremiah Jefferson is expected to be charged with attempted murder, aggravated assault, and related crimes for his alleged role in the shooting at the bus stop in Northeast Philadelphia earlier this month that left 8 students injured. He is the 5th person to be charged in connection with the March 6th shooting. Jefferson was inside the Dunkin' next to the gas station, while his friends with guns were seated in a blue Hyundai parked outside, said Deputy Police Commissioner Frank Venor. Evidence recovered in the investigation showed that Jefferson was texting back and forth with the people in the car, Venor said, at one point describing his own clothes and telling the shooters to make sure they avoid shooting him. "Don't cook me," he told them. He then sent photographs of 2 people, Venor said, and as the targets approached the bus stop, he made the final call. Quote, "go," he wrote, according to Venor. Almost immediately, Venor said, 3 young men with guns jumped out of the Hyundai and started shooting into the crowd of kids. 8 teens were shot, all between the ages of 15 and 17. 2 remain hospitalized, including 1 victim who was shot 9 times, who appears to be the intended target. Within a few days, police had identified the 3 alleged shooters and their getaway driver. Anil Buggs, 18, Jeremiah Carter, 19, Jamal Tucker, 18, and Asir Boone, 17. Boone was arrested in Virginia earlier this week, as I just mentioned, and Venor said he would be extradited to Philadelphia on Friday to face charges. Police on Thursday also announced that they intended to charge Buggs with a separate homicide that occurred in mid-February on the 5800 block of Rising Sun Avenue. In that shooting, 20-year-old Christopher Dallin was killed just before 9 p.m. while he was walking with a friend to get pizza. Police responded to the 5800 block of Rising Sun Ave at 8:54 p.m. for a report of a person with a gun on the highway. Christopher was located with multiple gunshot wounds to the upper body. Police transported the victim to Temple University Hospital, where he died at 9:12 p.m. At the hospital is where they identified him as Christopher from the 4800 block of North 15th Street. Chris Dowling was born and raised in Longcrest. A preliminary investigation revealed that Chris was walking west on the 500 block of Rosalie Street when a white Durango was traveling south on Rising Sun Ave, and there was an exchange of gunfire. Dowling's mother, Ivory, said police told her Bugs, who was from Olney, had been driving around the Longcrest area with others searching for someone to shoot as part of a back-and-forth feud between groups from Longcrest and Olney. The retaliation had been going on for years, she said. It was one of the reasons why she moved her family from Longcrest, their home of 19 years, to Abington 2 years ago. Ivory Dowling, Chris's mom, said her son had sickle cell anemia and was taking a semester off from college, living with his grandmother in Logan, working to improve his health. He was not affiliated with any of the groups, she said, but having grown up in the neighborhood, he had lots of friends who still lived there. Those boys were driving around trying to find a body, and my son just happened to be there, she said. Venora said it's one of multiple shootings investigators expect to connect to the Northeast crime. That investigation would include the shooting of 5 people outside of Imhotep High School on March 4th, he said. In that crime, Damian Taylor, 17, was shot and killed while getting onto the bus after school at Ogans and Godfrey Streets. 2 other students and 2 women seated on the bus were injured, struck by stray bullets. Venora said investigators believe the shooting in the Northeast may have been retaliation for Taylor's killing, which remains unsolved.
Stop. He types the word go.
Police say 17-year-old Asir Boom, 18-year-old Jamal Tucker, 18-year-old Anil Buggs, and 19-year-old Jermad Carter are in custody. Police believe these suspects are linked to other crimes, including the SEPTA bus stop shooting in Ogans on March 4th, where 17-year-old Damon Taylor was killed.
There's some kind of 2 neighborhood groups that seem to be going back and forth.
Police say Buggs is also charged with the murder of 20-year-old Christopher Dowling, who was shot and killed on Rising Sun Avenue in Crescentville on February 15th. Dowling's mother says her son was just walking to the store when he lost his life to senseless gun violence.
It gives me peace to know that that person is in jail, but then it's like, I still want to be able to see my son again.
Hoping justice is served to the fullest extent.
What did y'all want to accomplish from killing an innocent person? And then to know that they'll be in jail for a good while. To me, they need something harsher.
Yeah, you already know. Big bricks.
Look at Chris. Chris don't say nothing, he just brag.
This shit like my mom asked me why I keep this gun on me, cause they trying to hurt me. We the pavement team. Take the risk for Chris, I take the risk for Chris.
Now, I've been getting a lot of backlash for quote unquote putting stuff together and, doing the police's job for them and putting investigations together. From my point of view, I noticed that the music goes right along with the violence. All these kids are presumed innocent, so I'll wait until the trial, or at least a preliminary hearing for some of them, and I'll report on those. It seems like I get caught in between a rock and a hard place because I want to report on what's going on. However, these are young teens facing serious charges. They do have a court process to go through. But like I said, what I will do is just report on the court happenings as they happen, and we'll just get it that way.
Yeah, Jillian, we have learned that the victim was just 13 years old. Now, Salem police, they say that 16-year-old Joshua Cooper, he confessed to this murder on social media, which ultimately led them straight to his door. Now, we spoke to some neighbors who say they did not hear any gunshots or see or hear anything strange beforehand. 16-year-old Joshua Cooper is charged with murder, tampering, and possessing instruments of crime. Police say he confessed to killing someone during an Instagram video chat with a female friend. During that call, he allegedly showed parts of the body covered in blood and asked for help with disposal. That girl told her mom, who immediately called 911.
On Friday, November 25th, 2022, at 4:11 p.m., Ben Salem police received a 911 call about a possible homicide. The caller stated that her daughter received an Instagram video chat from a 16-year-old acquaintance. During that video chat, the 16-year-old stated that he had just killed someone. He then flipped the video image and showed the legs of someone covered in blood. He then asked for assistance with the disposal of the body. Cooper, 16, had prepared for a preliminary hearing on criminal homicide charges in the November death of a 13-year-old girl found shot once in the back of the head inside the trailer Cooper shared with his father. It was a crime, police said, that Cooper asked a friend to help cover up over Instagram. Ben Salem investigators testified during a brief hearing that they were summoned to Cooper's home in the Top of the Ridge trailer park on November 24th. The caller said Cooper told her daughter they had killed someone and needed help disposing of the body. Cooper, the woman told police, had shown her daughter footage of the corpse over Instagram. When officers arrived at Cooper's trailer, they spotted Cooper running from the scene toward a wooded area nearby. Inside the trailer's small, cramped bathroom, officers found the 13-year-old victim. She was lying face down, shot once in the back. A pile of blood-soaked towels were next to the body, as were bottles of bleach and other household cleaners, the officers testified. It appeared, they said, that someone had attempted to clean up the crime scene. Bullet holes in the home made it seem to the officers that the shot that killed the girl had been fired inside the trailer and traveled outside. Investigators later found a bullet lodged in the exterior wall of another trailer nearby. Cooper was taken into custody by officers at the scene. At the time, he told them it was an accident and said he feared he was going to jail for the rest of his life, according to testimony. He also told officers that the gun used in the shooting was in his father's safe, and officers were able to recover it there. Previously, Cooper told detectives after his arrest that on the day of the shooting, he was organizing his father's firearms inside his safe and sorting the ammunition inside it, according to the affidavit of probable cause for his arrest. The victim had texted Cooper that morning, the affidavit said, and was dropped off at his home by her family. The two teens stayed at Cooper's home Friday afternoon and watched Netflix. Cooper told investigators that at some point during the afternoon, the victim left the area where they were watching TV to use the bathroom and that Cooper did not accompany her.
A Bucks County teenager is facing murder charges tonight. Authorities say they caught up to the suspect after they say he talked about the crime on social media. Action News reporter Sharifa Jackson has been following the story, and she joins us live now outside the Ben Salem Police Building with all the details. Sharifa.
Yeah, Jillian, we have learned that the victim was just 13 years old. Now, Ben Salem police, they say that 16-year-old Joshua Cooper, he confessed to this murder on social media, which ultimately led them straight to his door. Now, we spoke to some neighbors who say they did not hear any gunshots or see or hear anything strange beforehand. 16-year-old Joshua Cooper is charged with murder, tampering, and possessing instruments of crime. Police say he confessed to killing someone during an Instagram video chat with a female friend. During that call, he allegedly showed parts of the body covered in blood and asked for help with disposal. That girl told her mom, who immediately called 911.
God bless her, man. She had a good head on her shoulders at least and didn't take the bait.
The shooting happened Friday at Top of the Ridge Trailer Park on Gibson Road in Ben Salem. Tracy Moges and her family live nearby. She says they didn't hear anything, but knowing that it happened so close where her kids play is unnerving.
It's a quiet neighborhood. We don't have any problems with teenagers or anything like that, so this is a little surprising.
According to the police report, when officers arrived, Cooper ran out the back of the trailer home. He was found a mile away and taken into custody. A deceased juvenile girl was found in the bathroom of the trailer park home. Investigators also say there were indications that substantial steps were taken to clean up the crime scene.
It is terribly sad when, a youth makes such a life-changing decision, probably based on nothing more but some hurt feelings.
Just sad. They're kids. It's just why they do it.
Now, Cooper, he was taken to a juvenile detention center, but he is being charged as an adult. I can also tell you that he was denied bail. Reporting from...
I'm gonna leave it there for now. Thanks for watching American Confidential. And until next time, be safe.